I have tried to make a video on Clix's fighting in the past, but I will be completely honest. I learned nothing, and the video was not good, so I ended up not doing it. But Clix has been on the grind lately. He has been putting in so much work, and I've been seeing a lot of really interesting stuff he's been doing in his fighting. So I want to break it down in this video right here because he came first in the Solo Cash Cup. All right, first up, he's fighting Teeny off spawn. Not the real Teeny, unfortunately. It is just a random. First thing he does, he places metal and then edits it. Has the Lee sound. I've covered this quite a lot. As you can see, like, this guy has no awareness on the fact that he's placed a build, even and edited here. So yeah, great start. 60 off the rip. Misses or hits tag, and then does something very nice here, which is that he jumps around and tries to piece this side. Kind of rather than being around here and just trying to attack this wall. Because naturally, if you shoot him from this side, this player is probably going to box up, place a ramp, and then box backwards into this area. That's what most players will do anyway. So I love that Clix's instinct was to shoot him there and then just run round to try and cut him off at this one side. Now, he doesn't, unfortunately, because this guy doesn't actually box back. He just places a couple wood builds. He's more focused on picking up that gold AR, which I think is very funny. But now this allows Clix to try and pickaxe through. But this guy's now blocked his back to the ramps the other way, and he gets the wall. But I love the tracking, so I like the fact that he's understood that there's no point in like running through. So a lot of mistake I see players do is they'll just try and run through all the builds, and you're never going to get there fast enough, and obviously you're just running into all the edits. So as soon as he kind of sees this player's running around, he's got another layer, he's got the wall and a ramp. Now here, rather than going through, he just runs around back outside again. So like very, very nice. And the mechanics he does here is also very good. So this like catching yourself on the ramp and like diagonally or ramping to the right or turn angle is something that I think a lot of players mess up way too much. So he gets the cone over, has the ramp, and then does this sprint jump with a high walls. Now, he did mess it up. I will be honest. He did mess it up here. But the sequence of like someone 90ing on you here is that you can sprint, ramp up a side, jump, try claim the high walls, and then piece them if you land on the ramps. But unfortunately, he did not. He then messed it up here again. Maybe there's, I was going to say maybe there's a no build zone there, but no, it doesn't seem like there is. And then he simply sprints up. One thing that's really important, I feel like I've been messing this up a ton, is just as you're building and ramping round, notice the way that he was always going to the right. Now, whether this is intentional or not, that's one thing, right? But as you're building up, always running to the right, so you're not running round to the left of this big build here. So as he was like coming up, he went round the builds this way rather than say jumping up and going around this way. That's because every single time when he gets height, now he's always going to have the right hand peak over the top here, so like jumping up and looking over. And now this allows him, like, imagine he'd go around the other side and the other player had rotated the other direction, he'd never have this shot, which is able to open up there with 39. And since he's now following on the right, now we can hit yet another shot to finish him off quickly. So some super nice basic stuff there. This next fight is just like a really good understanding of reading your opponents and seeing how good or bad they are. So in this, he tagged him for 25 here. This guy's boxed up in wood. He's then instantly crash padded away. So he's instantly tried to close the like distance himself. So clearly this other player does not want to fight at all. From Clix's perspective, this is an obvious sign that this player is probably not a good fighter. He tags him for another 23 and sees someone else spraying at the same time. So all of the signs here are that this player probably isn't that good. He's also not healing. As you can see, as he ran, he didn't like box up in this brick. He just instantly ran away. Does this guy have like a lot of mats? He's 11 builds, yeah. So he's not even like sitting boxing up properly there. He's just trying to escape. All the signs are saying this guy's not that good. So on approach, firstly, he does something very nice, which is this high wall. So this is a really nice way to approach other players because it takes minimal builds, right? It's 3 that you can place, but you cover so many different angles and you give yourself an opportunity to do like a really nice right-hand peek. In this instance, you can run up with the wall, jump out with your pump out, and then go for a shot. I don't think that's what Clix does here. He does this wall and then sprints out to the side, and then jumps and then ramps up over the top, so connects to this guy's builds. But when you're starting a fight, just starting off with that little like mechanic that you did there gives you an opportunity to do a quick little side jump, and then you can either connect or continue ramping up afterwards like this too. Now again, all the signs have shown that this guy's bad, on top of the fact that, you know, he's on top of the fact that he's basically just run away after being shot. You can hear him pop minis. Clix feels super safe just to like double pickaxe, jump in, spray him, go for the finish really quickly. Like it's very clear this was not a very, very talented player. It's not that he's fighting a pro here, so he doesn't have to be careful. He can just doesn't need to like pickaxe, hold out the pump, do anything. He can just like get straight in the box. So this guy literally gives up in this fight, as you can see. However, how he approached this is actually very nice. So he starts the fight off with a 75 tag onto the Punisher here, and he sprint jumps and slides. As you notice, he was shooting there as he was in the air to continue the pressure up, and now as he's keeping that forward momentum, he slides. Now he sprints up the ramp, places the floor and then the ramp to keep one up, and then sprints again, and then does a jump on top of that, pulls out the pump and hits another shot. Now the 2 tiles in particular is important because if you place 2 ramps, this is like the highest height that you can sprint jump off of without taking any fall damage. And there's also the fastest way that you can actually ramp up this, which I will show you in a second. So when you're pushing towards someone, you basically want to be sprinting up your ramp as much as you can. Now, if you just do this, you're kind of like slowing your sprint, jumping, you're kind of slowing it down as you do the jump. You're also using a little sprint when you're jumping. So instead, you should actually do what Clix did there. And as you get to the top of the first ramp, you should floor ramp and then look up and you'll place the next one. And then you can sprint, do the same. And this will actually allow you to climb up the fastest. Obviously, you're just on a single ramp here. However, it's small little additions like that at the start of fights which can gain you height quicker, and then you can get that opening shot. Of course, in the scenario that Clix was in, it didn't really matter too much because he just did this and then shot straight away afterwards. However, if you actually want to start ramping up the fastest, the way that I see Peterbot do this exact same thing a lot. Top of the first ramp, floor ramp, look up, place the next one, sprint, jump, same thing again. Obviously, you don't want to go that high, you die to fall damage. Very similar to that kind of previous fight about reading his opponents. Listen to how many times this other guy's pickaxing. He's just swinging, and that allows Clix obviously just to go for the quick edit and go. So if you see someone that's just, if you've got like 2 layers of built metal here, he's just swinging, you can probably pretty easily just make a 50-50 edit because they've got their pickaxe out. The chances of them not doing it is odd. This side jump is also very nice and one I definitely recommend learning. So here he chases through, he's on the ramp. So he's just about to side jump. So he sprint jumps, looks back, places the walls, the floors, and then the ramp. So this one allows you to continually obviously keep moving as you're going. That's like a layer and a half. Well, it's basically like a tile up instead. But I think in-game, this is probably the one that the vast majority of players will actually do and have like the most use of. I feel like most of the other side jumps that you do either send you far away from the other player or don't keep you actually close enough. Like if you're going to do one where you ramp out kind of the opposite direction. So yeah, if you just do the one where you land on like the floor here instead, well, a lot of players then you have to do another jump and it's slow and this guy can get away from you. Or if you do the one where you land on a floor and then put like a ramp over your head so that you're protected from the person at this angle, you then have to like ramp out this direction, which again gives that player time. So from Clix's perspective here, the only thing he could have done better, which also is a good way to like add on to this side jump, is once you've done this, is also to then go for the 2 high walls. I mean, this guy already claimed this, so it didn't really matter too much. But I think from this perspective, once you claim the walls here, going up and claiming these next 2 walls also works really well because A, you can either piece this guy or you can then go for a 90 from that point. So you're kind of like pre-90ing and you can go up and then grab the tops. From here, I think he runs up and tries to sprint jump and claim the tops, which also was a very nice way to do that. So like sprint jumping around the side. He obviously didn't get a cone here, but he got the floor. And they decided to pickaxe in. And then there's some server lag, so I don't see how he actually killed him, but this guy does mantle into his face, so that's probably kind of telling. So this time he's fighting against a much more qualified player, someone who's not an absolute NPC. And this guy's pressuring a lot. He's doing a very good job. He's hitting for like 100 already, pressuring in. But now this guy's fallen into his box. So as you can see, Clix owns everything here. And what he continually tries to do is just bait out the pump shot. The safest way, in particular if you're in low ping, to actually get a pump shot off is to just make sure the other player's already shot. So over here, he goes up. He hits the pump for a nice 48, which is great. And he doesn't re-edit this. This is very nice. This guy's in his full box. Like, this guy literally owns nothing of this. He also has a 0 match, which I never realized, which is funny. So he's in the entire full box. He's doubled on this time. So Clix jumps down to the other side here. Full boxes himself. Hits the peanut butter. I think. Does he? Yes, peanut butter. And then ramp edits. Doesn't see the other player, so you get to here. And now 76s. So from this perspective, he has a massive HP advantage. However, it's very easy for Clix still to die here. Like, he's on, like, 37 shield. This guy's got, I think he's got a blue pump. Has he got a blue pump? Yeah, blue pump. So he can easily one-pump him here if he makes a bad edit. So again, he could make, he's in the full house. He's full caged. So all he wants to do is hits the middle window, and then resets. Trying to make this guy pump. He's trying to bait out the pump shot. You can see he's still got his pickaxe out, so it's not worked. And then the server lag, which is happening a lot in this match. Thank you. I appreciate that. Then he hits another one. This is an edit that should give this guy a peek, right? He's like, he should shoot here. Oh, he doesn't! So he's trying to bait out the shot as much as possible. And he's got his pickaxe out again, so he can just go for the shot. So basically, he's either trying to wait for him to bait out a shot with the pump, or he's just waiting for the guy to pull out his pickaxe where he can edit and then shoot guaranteed. So when someone's on your wall like this, it was wall to wall, it's very, very difficult to actually go for like a safe peek if someone's literally like wall to wall. So the best players for the most part are always just either trying to bait out a pump shot or just waiting to have their pickaxe out or AR, because then you don't have the pump out, so you can have like guaranteed good damage. And this is something I really like from Clix, because the last few times, as I mentioned at the start of this video, that I've tried to do videos on Clix, he was very 50-50. I felt like every single fight I watch of him was a 50-50 that he would win or he would lose. And I didn't take that much away from him. There wasn't that much to learn, but already from this game, I can see he's improved so much over the last year, however much it's been, which is really, really cool to see. What it is here is also very nice. This guy's weak and boxed up in wood below him. Obviously, he's not going to be stacked. You know, this guy's just sending signals of, I have nothing. I am so poor. So what Clix does really really nice. He sprint jumps with his pickaxe out. So this guy has no visual audio, really. Like, you know, he's looking this direction for the most part. So he jumps down onto this right wall here. And then he's able to grab the wall because this guy doesn't have any clue where it is. So he jumped up. So when you're in the air, he doesn't have the pickaxe, the footstep audio. So then when he lands down, he can just easily grab the wall. Just really good. He's crouching up above this player here, who's obviously going to use the wingsuit, right? From this angle. So he drops down just as this player is about to do it. Pumps and then full boxes. But what's really funny is he misses the back wall. So this player just flies out of the box. He then starts to chase him and he dies to someone else. Is that visuals? Yeah, it's visuals as well. It's funny. Nice shot into him. And I think Visuals also manages to escape there. No? What's happening here? Visuals, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, he dies to the fish. So after that, he hits the wingsuit and then lands on a high layer. This is important for solos too. High layers are so good. So he just places, what, 2 walls? No, he places a lot of walls. Box is up, so he's away from that player. He's got a couple layers now. And now that he's up, this gives him the opportunity to look for height, look for other angles. He's got like less people looking at him. He can look at his cone, go for shots. And you can see so many players flying and he's scouting through the cone and sees no one's up on height. So might as well ramp up for it. And then that allows him to get a little freebie out of this guy, which he can then kind of ramp over for, grab a bunch. Doing it in wood is potentially a little greedy because he needs to get sprayed out here. It's lucky the other guys didn't shoot from like the backside because I think he probably could have easily got chopped out there. But it's a good refresh nonetheless. He also is able to go back and grab more of the loot here too. So he gets like completely cat mats from it, which is pretty cool. Another like super basic but very nice thing he does here is that he just ADSs. Sorry, does not ADS. He hip fires to start with this guy. When they're flying up here, obviously he's got the mythic, but when they're flying up through the sky, they're moving so fast that most people's ADS sensitivities are too low. So you can see he's hip firing until they fly like over his head, and his ADS tracking them on the way down because you can actually, you know, track that much easier that way. Then he's got a very classic height hold. He goes back over to the old builds and stays fully on the right side. Best side. Super cheap as well, right? All he's doing is just a couple cones over. He's not committing. If he gets chopped, it is what it is. Like, he can just build off. Like, he's not overly committing to height at this point. He's just playing slight high. You know, how many other materials is everyone else here using where he's just using a couple cones just to start things off? Like, you don't want to commit to height this early. And then this guy flies right into him, hits him with a bang, and then gets a free kill. And then same thing as before. Cones over a bunch, so you can grab a bunch of the mats. This should probably cap him up. Yes, he's got literally cap now. So now he can probably connect a little below. And maybe he doesn't really need to actually now and think about it, because he's got all those extra mats. You could connect. You probably should connect, but no one's going to look up at this early and spray out something that's like 6 tiles of metal full. So this entire endgame, he's basically just been on height with the cat mats he got from that one refresh. He did get another refresh where he sprayed them out of the sky earlier, which was nice. And he did the same thing where he coned over and grabbed all of the loot from there. But, you know, the main principles have kind of just been the same for the vast majority of height games. Stay close to the edge, connect when you need to, don't go too high up. Look backside, spray anyone who actually has I said look back, so what we're talking about. Look for anyone who's actually as soon as someone like tries to spray you, he pressures them back. Anyone who's like tarping under him, spraying in metal, tries to pressure them off of second height. Nothing like massively new or majorly interesting that I saw there. So let's look at a couple other fights. All right, this is also very nice. This is the next game. He also wins 2 games back to back. This guy's doing the same puzzle and he's crouched on top of it and he cannot hear at all. So as soon as the explosion happens, wait for it, bang, he pickaxes in, misses the pump, which kind of sucks. Full boxes, and then luckily manages to hit the shot after that and finish it off. Ends up being close. The fact that he timed this to the explosion is so smart. That's really, really nice. All right, so this guy's getting sprayed, so he pickaxes into the back, hits an 80 crack, and then kind of milks after that, I will be honest. Can't get in. He's trying to pickaxe in. Guy managed to hit him the bang, so he elevates up a layer and then does something very similar to what we saw earlier, which was just the scroll will reset, right? He's weak, he doesn't want to die. Guy starts spraying his wall, he just edit resets, and then as someone else sprays, he manages to pre-fire him, which is really nice. So he was obviously just waiting for that wall to be broken and then goes to the free kill. Now this gives him a complete cap refresh right before moving zones, and he gets above surge. What is he doing here with a that's not part of the instructions of how to rotate, by the way, is don't just randomly use your jetpack and hope for the best. First thing he does as another player is looking at him is he sprays him back. He gets more damage off and that stops this guy looking, right? And then he instantly starts to ramp up. He switches to metal, goes over this guy, cones up, and then creates like, you know, what you might think is a little bit of a waste of materials, right? That's a lot of materials committed just to like get in safely. However, this is 6th zone. This is going to be a zone transition here onto the 7th. And this is where, you know, you've got the potential for a partial pull here. So if the partials pull to him, everyone's going to jetpack. He's going to get free kills out of the sky. And if it pulls far, he's already over and above these kind of players here, where he has a much easier chance to rotate for the most part. So it is a lot of materials committed, maybe a little too much for solos. Quite frankly, he gives himself literally the best position. And for someone who wants to play height a lot, he's already set himself up to play it. Now, it might be a little bit early. I do still like this. Also ensures just because he was last to rotate, it means he's not getting lobby focused. And if he gets lobby focused prior to this, then he's just going to waste more mats than he actually spent building up up here to start with. Now he doesn't pull the zone, so let's see how he ends up rotating this too. Yeah, that's funny. Also, the reboot van that spawns in the 6th zone in some of these, it actually explodes in the storm like this. So it's really funny as Clix hears this and he's like, what the hell's happening back here? And he just turns around and looks. But yeah, that's what happens. If you hear a rift in the 6th zone, it's the reboot van spawning. If you hear an explosion, it's the reboot van exploding. Another thing, note, this is a very surge heavy game. So this position where he was high up, he was only 50 above there, and he managed to get an extra like 100 damage on players rotating out the sky whilst they were doing that. So very, very nice. Extra, you know, the high up materials usage definitely ended up being worth it in my opinion. Yeah, again, similar to the previous game, it lands on a high layer. So not landing too low, taking a single rotate to get in, being safe up here, which means he's going to have freer rotates after that and better vision onto everyone out after. Going for the chop onto the player up above him. Nah, the milk though. There's another guy behind him. He actually takes damage there, which hurts for the surge. This is also his last slurp juice used. This is funny because he sits in his code and he heavily commits for this high ground, which in 8th zone is pretty early to do so. As you can see, he just cranks all the way up, takes it, and starts to spray for this player down below. Maybe it's because he's 200 surge above. I do think this is probably a little too early to go for height to hold it. Obviously, it worked in the previous game, but that is a lot of mats to commit going for height, especially when there's already players like chopping and spraying you out. It does give you the opportunity from up on height when everyone's about to use their wingsuits to spray and get tons of surge damage. So maybe he was just thinking about going for surge. Maybe he just wanted to go on height. I have absolutely no idea what this guy's doing, by the way. That was possibly the worst sneak I have ever seen. Sneaking on the left hand doesn't really work. Jumps in. Very nice. Also a very nice mechanic to jump in. Let me show you for a second there. Just for reference, if you want to sneak on someone, you have to sneak up the right. Don't sneak up the left. Then he has the right hand peek. So anyway, he manages to crack him here. Chases him again round the right. So the mechanics are nice. So he swings, gets the ramp down, pickaxes once, pumps out. So he just assumes that this guy is obviously going to probably just try and do an edit. He's got like nothing basically. So he tries to predict the edit, but this guy doesn't go for it. So he takes out the pickaxe, manages to ramp his in, tries the cone, but fails. Important note that he's on the left of the box. A lot of players do this straight into the center. If they're in the center, this guy can run all the way around you. But if you go on the left, you have like a right-hand peek onto him. So it's really easy to see him at all times. So then he can just pickaxe through, replace the cone. And now because he's on the left, he just needs to look to the right. It's very easy to track where this guy is. And then he can hit the one pump. Bang! And he's dead. And that's free refresh. Now the problem here is that he is backside. And he does start to get focused. So he actually does this nice little ramp again. The ramp slide. Drops. And it is a lot of materials used. It's not the cleanest rotate. I'll give him that. It's not the cleanest rotate. But you notice he instantly elevates again, right? He did basically use an entire rotate worth. The problem is, if you're already backside, the problem is it's very, very difficult. Like, what's he going to do there? He has to commit a bunch of mats, but he also wanted the elim to get the refresh. Unfortunately, that refresh didn't really give him much. So, you know, the timings are kind of already off. Maybe he shouldn't have gone for that refresh. He should have cranked him and then just gone for a safer rotate on the front side. However, he has been continually staying high, so he can make that really nice rotate from here. So because he stayed on this high layer here, he doesn't need to like tarp all the way across. He just waited for a moment, sprint jumped over, ramped up over everyone, and now he's got height yet again. You know, there's not anyone really like super committing for it this early, but he's only got 14 builds. But imagine he only had 14 builds and he had to try and like create a full box down below. You know, he's now got 1 or 2 more rotates left in him because of this, and he does manage to win this game. So very nice. Cracks this guy, jumps to the opposite side. Very, very nice. I like that. Doesn't get the wall, pickaxes in and gets the kill. So I absolutely love the fact that after he cracked this guy, he jumps around to the side. And obviously the reason for that is a lot of players, you might just sprint jump down here, put a ramp over and try to jump in. But there's 2 reasons this is good. Firstly, anyone who's like spraying him or rotating from the backside is just going to shoot you first, right? If he's standing here, like this guy's in this cone, imagine you just jump down and try to jump in. This guy could just pump him in the back. Same thing on this wall, same thing on this wall. So jumping all the way to the storm side means there's no one around him, which is super nice. Other point about this is that this guy edited this cone to try and give himself protection from 3 different angles at once. So, you know, had this guy placed a ramp or whatever instead of this to try and heal, or just placed a cone like this, he would have been blocked by 2 layers. So instead, the fact that Clix jumped all the way around to the other side means that he's protected from people third-partying him, but he's also now got 1 layer to fight from and manages to get the kill very easily. Unfortunately, he doesn't really get too much. It's like siphoning a bit of wood, but he had literally nothing before. Yet again, back up onto height. Very, very nice. Again, I want to establish that this is... Ooh, that was dodgy. I was going to say, he's not like full committing to height a lot of the times either. It's just like ramping up on top of people. Jumping, rotating, getting to the next side. It's not like a super overcommittal with tons and tons and tons of mats. Nice, phased into this guy. That's not even the right player. He goes to the pickaxe. He thought it was the guy from earlier. That's funny. He's chasing this guy. Vibes. He sees him go to the metal. He ramps up. And then he thinks that's him. But the other guy's actually dropped out. Is that the same skin? No, it's not. That would be funny. So he's not reloaded his AR. So when he kicks in, he pumps and expects to be able to kill him with a pickaxe. But he's not. Anyway, he gets the ramp in. And then he reloads. This is super nice. He knows he has no ammo. Obviously, he went for the pickaxe. So he spends time to reload one pump shot, edits, and then hits it. Which is like very, very nice awareness. Like the fact that he actually just needed to reload both guns. So he went for the pickaxe, he's where he didn't have AR ammo, and then went for the pump because he's the reload because he knew he hadn't had one reloaded. So after getting this elim, he's now obviously backside. So the problem with this is that other people go for your height. So like this guy's coming to take his height from here. So he sprint jumps up and goes to ramp at him. But from here, there's no point in build fighting, right? This guy, he's only got 60 mats, but imagine this guy's got like 100 plus builds or something like that. He's just going to crank for height, and you're going to waste so many of your own mats. So instead, that's not him. So instead, he cones above, waits for it to build, obviously make sure he's not getting sprayed out, and then chops out this guy's ramp, chops out his own stuff, and then protects himself. So he puts himself in a cone, because look at the mats. He's just got a refresh, so he has enough to play for height here. So he's basically just chopped out this guy on height. If he decides to build back up, like the other guy decides to build back up, then he's going to have way less mats because he's just griefed him there. And if he doesn't decide to build up, which he did not here, he can end up actually taking height as he did. So very, very nice just to basically just height grief. One of the things I've talked about for a long time in solos and endgame is you can just grief people on height. It's actually almost always beneficial. Like if you've got some time and you're like near a high ground layer, just to chop out the guy in height. Because most of the time they're like one of the best players in the lobby. And if you can grief their materials and continually chopping them out, works very, very well. Obviously, it's not you don't do it every single time. But if you've got an opportunity, like you've gotten front side, you can look back, you're on a high layer, spray him out, you know, no real harm as long as you're, you know, doing it safely. Another thing, obviously, he's playing height for this entire game. As I mentioned, staying to the right side of zone is so good because you get like right hand peaks. Look how much he commits to staying to the right here. He like sprint jumps over, even takes a storm tick just to make sure he's on the far right to give himself the best peak down below. Like look at the vision he has now. Maybe he could have been one tile closer. Either way, like you can see how much he's committed to staying on the right because look at the angle he has to spray down. And again, he's not hit, you know, a single one of his shots because everyone is full tarping. But with the ammo he's got, he's able to full grief so many of the materials there. Does get that kill. Gets another one onto that guy as well. Now it's like a, what, 1v1v1? Great awareness again. He's making really, really good peaks from up here. Now he realizes he has to start elevating down a little. This guy below is probably going to get siphon mats if he gets the kill. Jumps onto the wall. Grabs it to start with. Good cone. This guy's full boxed. The ramp in was so nice there. This is like a triple threat wall replace. So he... Ramp. So he... Ramp, wall, coned there. Yeah, ramp, wall, coned. So he's got everything. So he's got a cone to land on to make sure this guy can't go out. He's blocked this guy and he's claimed the wall. Now he hits the peanut butter. Hits the peanut butter in it. Resets. He can kind of hold the wall, but he doesn't. He just instantly hits the bottom right four. Goes for the win. Very nice. I must say, I'm very impressed with the progress that Clix has made. Like I said, I've tried to make like an extra video covering his solo cash clips before, and I didn't learn much. Actually, honestly, I learned nothing. I learned that he 50-50'd a lot, and that was like a year ago, maybe the last time I did that. This video, I only watched 2 games, but I definitely learned a ton from him. Interested in watching a lot more games another time, so very, very impressed with the progress that he's made over the last year. Like, subscribe. Peace.